here, and the other 50% stays in here. And these effects here basically you know, duplicates of this kind of explosion that you have going on here. And these are basically seeds for trails. You can see you've got speed, random horizontal, random horizontal, random horizontal. So the speed's all the same in these. You've got gravity, you've got drag, you've got spawn by travel, so that as these seeds explode outwards, they leave trails behind them. These are actually the trails here, but you can see again we've got force, we've got the wind on them, we've got the particulates, we've got the rotation random, and we've got these red-blue material here. We've got, you can see it's got, sorry, this is just the name actually, the material, which is a bit deceiving, but the actual material is pale yellow. Then we've got yellow here, and then we've got orange here. So you basically get pale yellow trails here, you get yellow trails here, and orange trails here. And you can see I've actually used the display operator with similar colors to show that that's actually the case. So if I actually go up here and I'll turn this on, so now we get this turned off basically, and I'll turn this off, and that will actually turn on. And you can see now we're getting this percentage. Now I've actually realized that when I set this up, I actually set up the percentages to be wrong on this particular thing. I've actually set up the first percentage to be 66%. So 66% is obviously 2/3 of the particles get sent out and they become the white ones. Then 1/3 gets sent off and they then get split into two. So you've got 15% of one and 15% of the other. My original wish for this was that I'd have 30% white, 30% yellow, and 30% orange. So I've got the percentages wrong there. So let's just quickly fix that now. I'll just minimize this down here a little bit so we can see the effect take place here. This value should be 33%. Oops, there we go. So I'll just change that over, and immediately you can see we have, if I just zoom in there a little bit more, I'll just put it back to what it was. There we go. So you can see you've got a predominance of white particles, and that's because, you know, 2/3 of the particles are coming in here. As I said, it should have been just 1/3. So let's change that to 33% again. And now you can see we've got a nice mixture of oranges and yellows. You know, we've got the orange here and the yellow here, and you've got a nice mixture. So that's it for the particle flow. If you look over here, you've got blue blossom again. You know, that's just using a different color. And as I said in the final comp, it came out so bright in the end you couldn't really see the blueness of it. But that's something you could probably, you know, try rendering this effect off yourself and adjusting. Now there's three different ways you could, well, there are two different ways you could probably render off this effect and, you know, work on it yourself. And the first way is to do it the way I did it, which is I just rendered out all of the particles together in one big display, and then I took it into comp and I just basically blurred the particles and added them back onto themselves using additive color, and then I blurred them even more and added them on again, and I blurred them even more, you know, massive blurring, so it's just a really large vague color. And I think I increased the saturation on the really blurry ones, and that was just to get a sort of more sort of intense color coming in there, and just comped that all back on. For a little bit more control, the other thing you could do is you could actually render out Silver Spray on its own, Red Bloom on its own, Crimson Dawn and Blue Blossom. And then if you had the problem which we had here, which is that, you know, Blue Blossom came out looking too pale and, you know, basically came out looking white in the end, you could then just render Blue Blossom again and tweak the colors on it. And obviously the other thing you can do is you can treat each Firework effect as its own separate entity, and you can add more glow to one, less glow to another. You know, you can do different effects like that. So that's it for the Firework effect. As you can see, it's a pretty cool effect. As I said, it's something we'll return to in later DVDs, and in those DVDs we'll use scripting to produce more variety. For instance, I might try and do spiraling rockets. That'll be quite interesting. Also, another thing I could try doing is Catherine wheels. You could have a rocket that fires up into the air and then produces a spinning Catherine wheel. The other thing which I'll try and do is maybe have, as I said, heart shapes, or maybe a logo which explodes outwards in fireworks at the top. And you know, you can do pretty cool stuff. But that's it for this DVD. So let's move on to the next effect now, which is antacid tablets dissolving in water.